Police Academy meets Gundam. Japan's Finest's Rejects. Kidou Keisatsu Patlabor. Hello and welcome to another Mecha March edition of Earth Alien ProtoMet. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Kidou Keisatsu Patlabor, or Mobile Police Patlabor. Created by a group calling itself Headgear, Patlabor is an anime franchise with numerous iterations, and I'm going to talk about just about all of them. So let's get to it. Labors. Robotic construction vehicles created in the near future to aid in the ever-evolving workplace. The Babylon Project, an effort to expand Tokyo's landmass by filling Tokyo Bay to combat the effects of global warming. As a result of the Babylon Project, more and more labors are being utilized in Tokyo, resulting in a rise of labor-related crimes and terrorism. To combat such crimes, the Tokyo Metropolitan Police have established Special Vehicles Section 2, equipped with patrol labors, or PAT labors. Basically, this is a police series, or more specifically, a police comedy, but with giant robots. Patlabor consists of numerous shows and movies, as I previously mentioned, with different continuities between them. But there are lots of elements that are shared across the franchise. Special Vehicles Section 2 is comprised of two divisions, with Division 2 being the focus of the series, and they are a very ragtag bunch. Leading this team of flunkies is Captain Kiichi Goto, a chain smoker who tends to come across as a laid-back slacker, but he's actually a lot more shrewd and capable than he lets on. He often converses with, and may even be attracted to, Division 1's Captain Shinobu Nagumo, who acts far more professionally. Division 2 is divided into two teams. Team 1 consists of Noe Izumi, a young, often naive woman who loves labors, particularly the Ingram she pilots, which she has affectionately nicknamed Alphonse. Noe is the pilot of Team 1, and is basically the main character of the series. Asuma Shinohara, the team's forward, is the son of the president of Shinohara Heavy Industries, one of the various companies that produce labors, particularly Division 2's Ingrams. While Asuma is quite knowledgeable about labors, he has a very poor relationship with his father, and may have joined the police as a way of rebelling against him, but he proves to be quite capable of giving Noah directions on the job. And Hiromi Yamazaki, the quiet, gentle giant of a man, who wound up as the team's driver due to being too big to pilot a labor. Team 2 consists of Isao Ota, a dedicated police officer who's very quick to anger and will often shoot first, and not even think to ask questions. His quick temper and hot head often result in his Ingram being damaged first in most confrontations. Kanuka Clancy, a temporary member on loan from the NYPD, she is a consummate professional, and as the team's forward, is the one most capable of keeping Ota in line. Not that it always works, but she's still better than most others. Takeo Kumagami, who only appears in the manga and TV series, is both literally and figuratively Kanuka's replacement in those versions of the series. She trained with the Hong Kong police force, and while she shares many traits with Kanuka, her personality is noticeably softer while she's still professional. Rounding out the team is Mikiyasa Shinji, a married officer and the team's driver. Despite his rather meek demeanor, he can surprisingly become aggressive when it comes to his married wife. As previously mentioned, Division 2 utilizes a pair of specially made patrol labors known as Ingrams. Created by Shinohara Heavy Industries, these machines are top of the line, and a far cry from the older machines used by Division 1. Armed with a stun baton for incapacitating enemy laborers, as well as a large handgun known as the revolver cannon, these units are designed to aid the police in stopping labor crimes. A team of dedicated maintenance workers, led by the veteran mechanic Seitaro Sakaki and his second-in-command Shigeo Shibe, work day and night to make sure the Ingrams are properly repaired after each deployment and properly maintained for the next time they're needed. Because the show focuses on the second stringers of SV2, the tone is far more comical than you might expect a show about police officers to be. That isn't to say the series can't handle being serious, it's just the serious moments have more impact because of how humorous the shows usually are. These aspects, combined with the real robot style of the show, make for a series that really stands out in the mecha genre. So let's take a look at the various media of this series. I mean, look at this. This is pretty thick. It's got 2 Blu-ray cases. Yeah. The first is the manga series, running from 1988 to 1994, which retells much of the Griffin storyline from the '89 TV series we'll discuss later, before continuing on with said storyline in a far different direction than the show. The biggest difference, however, from the other entries, is that Kanuka is mostly absent until the end of the series, with Kumagami being introduced early on as the sixth member of Division 2 in her place. Next is a 7-episode OVA series from 1988, referred to in the US as The Early Days. This series acts as a prequel to 1989's Patlabor, The Mobile Police, which, spoiler, we'll be talking about in depth later this month. This was then followed in 1993 by a second movie, Patlabor 2, The Movie, a political thriller that focuses on Nagumo, as well as a third in 2002, W13, Patlabor The Movie 3, that takes place between the previous two films, that's adapted from the monster storyline from the manga. Then there's the aforementioned TV series, Kidou Keisatsu Patlabor on television, which, as mentioned before, has an on-again, off-again story relating to a mysterious black labor, the Griffin, though most episodes are one-off stories that tend to be a bit silly. This show is followed by a second OVA series that ran from 1990 to 1992, which shared the show's name in Japan, but was renamed The New Files in the US, which concludes the Griffin storyline and extends past it. There's the 2015 live-action series, The Next Generation Patlabor, which acts as a sequel to the original OVA series in the movie trilogy, though elements from the TV anime are also present. This series is the most divergent as, with the exception of Shige, played by the character's voice actor Shigeru Chiba, almost none of the existing characters appear, though most have skewed equivalents, with similar personalities. This series is set after the completion of the Babylon project, so labor use in general is on the decline, leading to SV2 being downgraded to a single division that can do little aside from wait for crimes to happen while twiddling their thumbs. This was followed the same year by a live-action movie, The Next Generation Patlabor, Showdown in the Capital City, or Grey Ghost, The Next Generation Patlabor, if you're watching the director's cut, which acts as a follow-up to the second anime movie, but with characters from Next Generation. There are even a number of scenes from Patlabor 2 that are recreated here. There's also the 2016 short, Mobile Police Patlabor Reboot, which utilizes CGI for the labors, and seems to be set after the TV series of The New Files, with a criminal using both a labor and social media as part of his crime spree. And lastly, there's Patlabor Easy Y, which at the time of this video is scheduled to start airing in 2026. So there's no footage to show you, and if there is, I don't have it. There are also a number of novels and video games, but since I have neither read nor played them, I can't really comment on them. Suffice to say that Kidou Keisatsu Patlabor is pretty popular, and is a good example of a real robot series that doesn't try to be grim or gritty, and instead has fun with itself. Of course, I recommend watching this entire franchise, or reading in the case of the manga, and until next time, I'm ProtoMet. See ya!